All right, people, I'm back again with another sorry to get some stuff off the lens there, with another video today. Get a load of where we're fishing right now. We're at this beautiful creek. You can see a little spillway dam over there. A couple other folks out here nearer the dam area that are fishing as well. And so today, you know, I got the Ultralight set up out here. You know, actually, you know, this week they were kind of calling for today to be kind of like a rainy, you know, chance of thunderstorms type of day. Cloudy most of the day. So I was initially planning to try to go to a lake and, you know, maybe try to catch some bass or other predatory species on a topwater lure, you know, with the heavier gear. But this morning, you know, the forecast had changed. It was more just going to be like a partly cloudy day. You can see the sun is not out at the moment. It's kind of been off and on all day. And, you know, I just realized I hadn't busted out the old Ultralight setup in a while, actually. Like a month or even possibly even longer than that. Since I've actually, you know, just gone and tried to do an Ultralight session. You know, I kind of planned on trying to do one a few weeks ago at this spot, actually, and it just didn't work out because the water was way too high. But today, the water just looks pristine right now. Nice and clear, low. So this creek, a little bit more about it. I have fished this creek in a couple of different sections before, and had some good luck here for a wide variety of species. I've caught, you know, I actually went to this exact spot one other time briefly, and caught like some bluegill, some yellow perch, and a black crappie. Good sized fish as well. But there are also, I know for a fact that there are largemouth bass in here. There are chain pickerel in here, red breast sunfish, and maybe a couple other species as well. So yeah, I just wanted to come back to this spot, give it more time to really explore, and just see what we can catch out here. You know, I think I'm going to start off with you know, we've got this small little bait here. Just really seeing whatever wants to bite, you know, see how many species we can catch out here today. You know, later on maybe we'll switch to some slightly bigger lures, maybe topwater or a crankbait or some bigger soft plastics or something like that. But hey, you never know until you throw. So let's go. All right, people, so a little bit more about the lure that I've got tied on right now. This is a very small bait, little soft plastic. This is, I think the brand is called Southern Pro, and the lure is called a crappie craw. You can see the bait has like a couple of little orange claws and some antenna on it, so it looks like a baby crawfish. And I've had very, very good success with this little thing in this creek and the other sections that I have fished. You know, like I said, you know, I'm going more for a multi-species type of situation today, but there are some big fish in this creek. You know, it feeds into one of the larger rivers eventually. I mean, the first time I used this bait, I caught like an 18-inch bass out of this creek. So there are some larger fish, and this little lure can catch them sometimes. So it's really just one of those, you know, a little soft plastic like this, a little critter. It's just one of those imitations that it's very effective. It's all there is to it. You know, you just kind of cast this out, hop it along near the bottom, or just let it sink, and really any kind of fish could go for it. You know, anything that would eat a crawfish, and that's most species of fish out there, to be honest. So yeah, this is a 1/32 ounce jig head. Another thing I want to note here before we start casting is that this creek widens and deepens quite a bit in certain areas. So we may end up having to kind of relocate, try a completely all new spot if we're not able to wade any further, because it does, you know, if you're getting to the point in my opinion, where you can't really see where your feet are, and you know, the water's getting up to, you know, past your waist, it's time to stop wading, because you could just step off into some drop off and get in trouble. But anyway, I'm gonna make my way to the first spot here. All right, people, I just saw a gar right in front of me, maybe multiple gar in this creek. Gar are super active right now, as are a lot of fish, but it's just interesting to see what you can find in here. And I'm actually going to go ahead and make a few casts in this little pool where they are. I don't expect to catch one or hook one, but you know, we've got this current right here and then this little quiet pool next to it. I feel like I could attract some other fish as well. It's pretty shallow, but that could still be in there. There's a fish. Little bass. On the crappie crawl. All right, people, first fish of the day. Typical little creek rascal here. A largemouth bass, about 5 or 6 inches long. Thanks for biting, fish. Hey, it's a start. Nothing crazy, but it's a start. Let me make a few more casts over here. Alright, people, so when I was here last time, this area of the creek was at least a foot higher. If not more, if not 2 feet higher than it is right now. So, you know, this is where I was really having some luck before, but the water is so much lower that all of the kind of larger fish that we were able to catch last time are no longer here. I'm seeing some small bluegills, and small, I mean, you know, a couple inches. Oh, there's a bass. There's a fish. Another little bass. I saw one just now. That looked like maybe a pound or so. But this is basically cookie cutter of that other one. Maybe a little bit smaller. But a largemouth. All right, dude. Uh-oh. Look at that, people. Someone just bit the back half of our plastic completely off. Maybe something toothy. Chain pickerel, perhaps, did that. In any case, we gotta get re-rigged. There's a fish. Risky cast, people, but it paid off. And we've got an interesting catch here. But not a complete surprise from this place. This is a hybrid fish of some kind, people. Definitely has some red breast in it, judging by that, the flap, the ear flap. About a 5-inch fish. I'm assuming the other parent is probably bluegill. I know bluegill and redbreast are in here, so that's my guess. We made a risky cast to get this fish, though. It was tight to that fallen stump over there, that tree, that log. I want to get a picture of this fish and let him go, though. I don't really catch a lot of hybrid fish, so this is pretty interesting to catch. All right, people, one more look at him. If you think this is something else, let me know, but I'm pretty sure it's bluegill and redbreast hybrid. The mouth is a little bit smaller, like a bluegill as well. Interesting catch out here. but I have caught a hybrid from this creek before, so. There we go. Better fish. Nice. Nice bass, people, from under that log. Stay on, buddy. Go play this fish. Let him tire out. Ooh, he's fighting good on this ultralight setup. It's a nice fish, people. Nice fish at the creek. That's what I'm talking about. Give it up, buddy. Give it up. Yeah, I got you. I got you. Ooh, long, skinny bass here. Not bad, y'all. On that little bait. A very good cast, if I do say so myself. This is a long, streamlined bass here. He's probably 12 inches, but he's pretty thin. You know, not tall or stocky in any way. Very streamlined. Adapted for maybe some current. Beautiful fish. Beautiful bass here at the creek. Nice catch on that little, that's a 1.5 inch lure. Decent sized fish, went for it. Gave a good fight too. We're making some progress here, people. I'm gonna keep casting to that log for sure. Let me get a picture of this guy and send him on his way. Very nice. One more look at him before I let this fish go. All right, nice fish, people. Fun on the ultralight. Peace out, fish. Appreciate you. Looks like that one might have been caught before. There was kind of like a sore spot on his lip. He's just retreating back to his lair under that log. Maybe he has a couple of friends down there want to eat this here crabby crawl up our. People, so we kind of came around the other side. And there was like a sort of like a little island that the creek went around both sides. It's actually getting some light rain right now. I think it's just going to be a passing cloud, nothing serious. But we've got all these branches and fallen logs over here along this bank, you know, with these overhanging trees. Gonna cast the crappie crawl around here a little bit, see if we can get a couple more fish. There's a fish. Nothing big, but it's another species for the day at least. Little bluegill here. We've seen a ton of bluegill, so it was really only a matter of time for one of them bit. 4-incher, nothing crazy, but another fish. Yeah, you really don't. All right, people, we lost our crappie crawl setup, so I just had to take the opportunity to switch things up a little bit. Got an even smaller jig head on here, 1/64 ounce, and a Berkeley 1-inch gulp alive minnow. Just kind of felt like, you know, we were catching a few fish, but a lot of the fish were sort of hesitant, you know, nipping at it, not exactly committing to the crappie crawl like I know that they can. So I'm thinking maybe a slightly different profile, you know, different imitation might do better. Here's a fish. There we go. Another little bluegill. Nothing crazy, but we got another fish at least. There are a lot of these smaller bluegill. I know there are bigger ones too, about a 3 or 4 incher. Thanks, little guy. These fish are pretty finicky today, people. It's definitely tougher than I was expecting. There we go. Not a bad fish. Oh, here we go, people. A nicer bluegill. Not huge, but got some decent colors on them at least. Yeah, that's a pretty bluegill here, people. Definitely a mature adult specimen, not one of those kind of smaller ones that we kept seeing, looking around, swimming around carelessly. Got some purple, some olive green, that blue on the gill, of course. All right, nice. Maybe this was a good switch. We still have had a couple of those kind of hesitant bites, but I think it's just a smaller fish. So I want to get a picture of this guy and send him on his way. All right, one last look at our bluegill, people. Appreciate you, fish. Thank you very much for that bite. There's a fish. It's all bluegill, people. It's the only thing that's willing to hit the Gulp minnow, apparently. Let's get this guy unhooked. There he is. Bye. I was kind of hoping to catch more variety today, people, to be completely honest with you. But doesn't seem to be happening at the moment. There's a fish, guys, in this little pool around here. It's a green sunfish. We're close to the car, but I figured I'd hit, these little pools and stuff, and got another fish, another species here. Little green sunfish, about 3 inches long. Pretty little thing, though. Really one of the more cool looking sunfish species, if you ask me. You got kind of that orange yellow trim on their fins, slightly bigger mouth, lots of blue spots and streaks around the face and on the body. Let's send him back. Glad we got another species here. Gonna take a picture of this one too. Pretty little fish. Here's a fish, guys. Another species. Figured it was just green sunfish in there. But I was wrong. Check that out. It's a little warmouth. You've seen these on one of the earlier episodes. This one's not even quite as big as those others, I don't think. But that's funny how just this one little pool ends up having all these species when, we fished basically, the big main creek and couldn't find anything but bluegill and largemouth. So I'll get a picture of this one and send him on his way. We'll make a couple more casts in here and then it's time to go. Alright, people. I'm gonna wrap things up here real quick. So about the day, it wasn't a bad day of fishing. We went out and we caught a few fish with the ultralight setup. With that being said, I would say that this spot did not meet my initial expectations. After the last time I was here for less time and caught not even close to the same amount of fish, but bigger, nicer fish, So I was kind of hoping for bigger fish and more of a variety today. and that just didn't end up happening. You know, we were really just catching bluegill most of the day, and they were small. The water was a lot lower and clearer, and yeah, I don't really know what how to explain the difference today. I guess maybe it's just like a seasonal thing, like maybe there's some fish that tend to kind of, like those perch for instance, tend to kind of run up in here. Maybe the crappie do too, and then once the summer hits they go back out to the main river. So that could be an explanation for why there just didn't seem to be a lot of fish around, and the fish that were around were primarily bluegill and largemouth bass. And the bass were just finicky today. Did kind of make up for the lack of species diversity here in this little pool underneath the old dam, the old mill dam. You know, caught that little warmouth and that green sunfish, so that kind of helps make things a little more interesting. But overall, I don't think I'm going to be fishing this section of the creek again anytime soon. If I do, it'll, you know, it seems like the best time to fish it might be in the spring, when like there's those fish that are making their runs, you know, those crappie and those perch. So I'm going to keep that in mind for next year. Come out here with the waders sometime in the spring, and hopefully get on much greater sizes and varieties of fish. But hey, you know, we went out, we caught some fish. It's a pretty scenic environment today. Nice being out here at the creek with the ultralight. So in the grand scheme of things, I can't complain. So with that being said,